Hi, and welcome to Cardcast, where each week we discuss topics of interest with Lamar University Cardinals. I'm Shelley Vitanza, Director of Public Affairs at Lamar University. Now, most classes, accounting to marketing, sociology to criminal justice, can be easily moved to an alternative learning environment or an online platform. But what about art? Teaching art online presents some really unique challenges. So, how do you take a very physical set of materials and turn them into a virtual experience with integrity? Well, that's exactly what Lamar University has been challenged to do during the coronavirus pandemic. And here to talk about art in a virtual world is Donna Meeks. Professor Donna Meeks is the chair of the Department of Art and Design at Lamar University. She teaches courses in oil painting and watercolor. She's a graduate of the University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, with a Master's of Fine Arts in Art, Painting, and Sculpture, and of the University of Louisville, where she earned a Master of Arts in Teaching in Art and a Bachelor of Arts with honors in art, drawing. Since 1981, Meeks' paintings and drawings have been exhibited from coast to coast in more than 150 diverse exhibition venues. Meeks has worked Her works are included now in the permanent collections of the Fundación Torre Pujales in Galicia, Spain, Art Museum of Southeast Texas, Brandywine Workshop in Philadelphia, and the Hoyt Institute of Fine Arts in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, among others. Meeks was a visiting artist in the Department of Art, the University of Texas of the Permian Basin, and was an artist in residence at the Fundación Torre Pujales, Galicia, Spain, and was also a Knight Foundation Fellow at Brandywine Workshop in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She is listed in Who's Who in American Art. So welcome, Donna. So glad that you could be with us.
Well, thank you for having me.
So let's first talk about this transition, LU's transition from the face-to-face art classes to the online platform. I mean, that's I just can't even imagine. I mean, what software do you use, and how is all that going?
Well, I think we've all been talking to each other and challenging one another. And one thing that happened nationally is that artists created a lot of chat rooms on Facebook and other things to share ideas. And we are participating in that. And what I can tell you is, well, of course, we're using Blackboard and we're using the tools that Lamar provides in Blackboard. We're also using Zoom, of course, like a lot of people are right now. And we're also setting up our home studios in unique and interesting ways. For example, our printmaker, Zenya Fedorchenko, has created a printing in your kitchen experience for the students. And she's going to end that semester rather than printing and editioning, because the studio has presses and your kitchen does not. She's going to end that semester with an artist book problem she was telling me about just yesterday. And of course, some classes are more readily placed online. So, for example, in graphic design, you're already working digitally. It's just that you're not working face to face. So, all of those tools are there. And it was wonderful that Adobe provided worldwide access to students off campus use of Adobe Creative Suites, or Creative Cloud, actually. And so our students are able to access Photoshop, InDesign, and all those softwares that they're used to accessing. And another thing, for example, we still offer chemically based photography classes, film classes, which that does not translate. And so we've had to migrate all of that to digital photography. So translating those lessons from whatever chemical problems they were going to be given into a digital perspective. And, you know, everyone has chosen a different element to experiment with, whether it's recording in Ultra your lectures or using other tools.
So has it been receptive? Has it been difficult for them to embrace this new approach?
Well, I guess what I want to say too about the faculty and students in art and design at Lamar is I will say the faculty have when handed lemons, let's make some lemonade, right?
Right,
And
right.
so you might as well be creative. It's a pandemic. And so they're just trying all kinds of fun things. And students are stepping up to the plate. And just speaking about my own class, because we'll be talking about painting in a minute, things that we've done to improve safety.
Right.
Oil painting, you really shouldn't probably take that to your bedroom with turpentine. So I've had to bring forward some less toxic experiences, or students have set up studios outside or in their garages. And there's just wonderful things that the facility, the building itself, provides students that's not present in your garage.
Yeah,
right?
ventilation, things like that. Right.
Ventilation,
Yeah.
very nice equipment, access to very traditional ways of doing things. So again, lemons into lemonade, we'll just have to make do. And in a minute, I'll show you how to make an easel out of a step ladder.
Well, and so let's talk about that. Now with all of this newfound experience forced by the pandemic, can people, because I mean, art is a great way to relax and kind of get creative and take your mind off of all the things that are going on, get away from the news channels, right? So, have you learned some ways that we at home can turn our our some of our spaces into creative spaces?
Absolutely. And what I'll do is show you right now how to turn a step ladder into an easel. For example, as soon as students have to move home, they probably don't have an easel.
Ah,
And many of my students are not necessarily painting majors, so they probably don't want to invest long term in an easel. So I was thinking, I guess you could make an easel out of a step ladder. So don't you know, I checked on Google, and sure enough, there are many ways listed on Pinterest to make a step ladder into an easel. And I have one of my students who took me up on this. So I have this here today and my little step ladder here in the house. And to turn this into an easel, I needed board. And then
mhm.
I tacked a piece of wood across the front. This will serve as a stop so that the painting or
Yeah.
canvas doesn't fall off. Now I'm going to take this in this way, and I'm going to position it here on this step. And I have a clamp.
Got it.
And so now I will,
You're gonna have to move that over a little bit in front of your camera so we can see it.
okay, here, let me do this then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
like,
move it in front of your chair so we
yeah,
can check it
how
out.
about that?
Oh, the limitations of online
Can you see?
presentations. We're learning that, aren't we?
Okay, so can you see?
Perfect.
Okay,
Okay, so the
I'll
step
take this
ladder.
way down.
Okay.
I'm going to come back here, and I have it clamped.
Uh-huh.
Now it's positioned, won't fall.
Okay, I was picturing that you would put the board kind of standing up, but you've got the board laying down, and so then you put the painting. Oh, very
So
clever.
then
Okay. Because how much is an easel? If I were to go out and buy an easel, is it an expensive purchase?
it is an expensive purchase. So for a very lightweight easel, you can sometimes find them on sale for about
Oh,
$100.
yeah.
Yeah, but if you were getting a good one, then you're probably talking anywhere from two to, on the very high end, $800 or $900. So
Wow. Yeah.
students aren't focused on that right now.
Heck no. Now this is a great fix.
Yeah, so now you can see you have this here. Now, there are other ways to do things, of course. Here, and we'll just push that over a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, this is a box that I use for my watercolors, all right? And it's a wooden box. It serves as both a box. I keep my palette on the front, but if you open it, it also becomes an easel.
Got it.
So you have storage for your materials,
Very nice.
and then
And very portable. So you can move it around, clean up
it
your
has like a
space.
little, it has a luggage handle type thing.
Right, right.
Then, if I want to create this easel, and I have a canvas, and I can bring it down.
Maybe you can put that in your lap so we can see the whole thing kind of set up.
So
Perfect. That's nice too, because we don't have these big spaces at home. And since we're all at home and all of our families are at home, we've got to kind of keep everything contained. And it looks like this, you could take in, set up, do your creative work, and then close it up and put it away.
right. And this, of course, is a canvas from Michael's here in town. And the box I actually bought off of eBay, but you can find them anywhere. Jerry's Artorama is a great place to shop online, as is Dick Blick for art supplies.
Okay, and so are those things pretty easy to get, and supplies are pretty, I mean, you can get them shipped right now, not a problem?
Well, I would think so. I bought this a while back. I don't think this will be like a mask. I think she's
Right, right.
plenty of these. I may be wrong.
Well, shipping's just kind of slow all around, but you can still get art supplies.
Oh, well, I have had no problems getting art supplies through
Perfect.
Amazon and other providers.
Perfect.
I mean, one bright spot is there's plenty of delivery happening as far as bringing it here. Students have been able to do that. And the other thing I might mention is Michael's, which is a pretty good outlet here in town for art supplies, is providing curbside.
Nice.
So you order your supplies online, and then you can drive up in your car. And my student told me they had quite a bit of social distance.
That's great. That's
she
great.
opened her car and stepped back, and they put the product in. They stepped back. She closed the car.
I kind of like some of this curbside. Maybe that could be the new norm, going forward.
Right. Well, it's very handy, isn't it?
It really
Very
is.
handy.
Okay, let's talk about the safety. Unless there was more. Was there more you wanted to talk to us about setting up?
Well, I will say, let's tie safety into products.
Okay, yeah.
Because, I'm showing you here is a case that I have my watercolors in. And so I buy tube watercolor. They last forever, but you can use pan watercolors if you want. And, but I have lots of colors, and in watercolor, you want to have a pretty good range. But they have little sets. You're just trying to get this for your children or for yourself. You can start with a little $13 set, and you have all the colors you really need. And so this is watercolor. Watercolor obviously is the most safe. And probably a good thing is to look at different ways to go about. This is a product called Aqua Board. So if you didn't want to paint on paper, paper being the most obvious, they also have a product called Aqua Board, and it's a hard board that then will accept watercolor on the surface.
Oh, I like that. It's nice and small.
It's small.
Yeah.
There's plenty of small things out there. It doesn't have to always be big, but I will say, I do like to tell the students, don't be afraid of the big brush.
That's a big brush.
It is a big brush.
You're showing me this little bitty canvas, and all of a sudden you come out with this big brush.
So don't be afraid of the big brush.
Okay.
And things you should know, and then talking with first safety, things you should know. I bought this set the other day off of Amazon, and it's basically Galkit, Gamsol, and other Gamblin products that are safe to use in your house.
Okay.
So Gamsol is an odorless mineral spirit, and Galkit and these are all mediums that we use to mix into our oil paint. And they each have different properties. And this set was a little over $20, and it was delivered quite quickly with Amazon Prime to my house.
Perfect. Now,
this blue tube here is solvent-free medium for oil paint.
Okay, here's where my ignorance is going to come out about painting. You said we can't do oil in the house because of the turpentine. Does this solve that problem?
Yes. So I would still lay some paper down, but
yeah,
this in particular is a solvent-free gel. And so one of the things we do when we're painting is we add what's called a medium to the paint. And so squeezing this out and mixing our paint, it extends the paint. Paint is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get a lot more distance out of a tube of paint with medium.
Got
It
it.
also gives a pliability and viscosity and helps the paint stick to the paper or the surface, for example. And that's something we can use in oil painting. So it's possible they might want to explore Galkid and Gamsol for these purposes. I've had a couple of students move in that direction. Now in class, we work with pure gum spirits of turpentine, Damar varnish, and stand oil to create our medium from scratch. That's something you would learn in college in class.
Right.
It's pretty fragrant.
Yes.
And so we have to have lots of ventilation and therefore making it safe.
Right.
And but this is a solution for folks who are needing and wanting to work in oil. Interestingly enough, oil is easier than watercolor.
Oh.
Watercolor is actually very demanding.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really dependent on a real knowledge of water and physics and moving that color around to really get those kinds of effects. But there are plenty of YouTube lessons in any paint material online. So if you're not sure and you want to look up this technique or that, there are plenty of instructional videos on YouTube.
Okay, so if I were to decide that I wanted to go and I was going to take some of this extra time that we all have and be creative, what would I order at Michael's to get started?
Well, first I would ask you, Shelley, what do you want to paint in?
Well, I want to paint.
What are you going to
I think
paint
I
in?
want to paint in watercolor. I want to do
Okay.
watercolor.
So the easiest way to start with watercolor is they have a package of sable brushes. Now I brought my brush set here. Let's see. And what you want when you're painting in watercolor, you want a nice soft brush. So when you're painting in oil, you want a bristle brush.
Okay.
It's a little stiffer. So what you would want is a watercolor set. Sometimes acrylic brushes are also very nice and for working in watercolor. And they have different kinds of brushes, sometimes for special effects.
Mm.
So if you're wanting to do grass or leaves, this is a great tool for that. So to get started, you'd buy a pack of brushes. Generally, they have a starter set. I think it runs about $6. And then they have a starter set of watercolors, which is about, the bigger set is about $12. And then there are pads of paper, which I brought. Whoops, I guess I didn't bring it in here. They have watercolor pads. Of course, Arches 300-pound is the best, but 140-pound paper is fine. And Canson is a good brand, and there's some other brands that they carry that are very nice and have a good tooth. And typically in watercolor, you would want a cold pressed paper so that it has a lot of grain to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way it holds your watercolor on your image. So that you're good to go because you hopefully do have water at home.
Yes.
And a jar and brushes and watercolors and paper, you're ready to start painting.
Okay, that's not too demanding, really. I mean,
Not really.
not
Yeah.
having to get a lot. Give us kind of an overview of the art department at Lamar University. Is it a big department?
It's big in ambition.
Yes.
So let me tell you about the art department. It's a fairly comprehensive department. We've changed our name from art to art and design to reflect more of what it is that we do. We offer 4 undergraduate degrees, 2 professional degrees, a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Graphic Design and a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Studio Art. In the Studio Art program, you can have a concentration in drawing, painting, printmaking, photography, and sculpture, so you choose. We also have a Bachelor of Science degree in Studio Art leading to all levels certification. So if your ambition is to enter art education, either as an EC12 teacher, specialist teaching art, or if you're going to go on into museum education or things like that, that would be a degree. We also offer a BS in graphic design that allows students to double major or double degree. And we have a number of students who actually double degree in graphic design and computer science. So then they have the training to do both the back end and the front end in terms of user interface, web design, and all of those things. We have a lot of students who go into drawing and combine that with digital instruction because they're interested in animation and these sorts of things. So pretty broad-based interest in the student body. There's approximately 145 undergraduate majors in art and design. Our largest group, of course, is graphic design. And our next largest group would then be drawing, actually, and then photography. What's interesting about the photo program is it combines both chemical and digital instruction. So you get the whole gamut, including some historical processes like cyanotype and other things where they're using large format cameras and things like that. So that's very exciting. And we have approximately 12 faculty, and all of the faculty are exhibiting artists or publishing art historians or publishing art educators. So we have very active faculty, probably the most active in the history of the department right now. A lot of books being written. And in fact, we published this last fall a textbook, an art appreciation textbook, co-authored by the faculty in the department, as well as professionals here in Beaumont and surrounding areas. We have many arts professionals, like at the Art Museum of Southeast Texas, the Stark, and places like that, who authored portions of the textbook because we really wanted to have a textbook that engaged community understanding what we have here. And so we're very excited about that. And it's been rather successful. It was co-edited by myself and Dr. Stephanie Chadwick, one of our art historians.
Well, that's very impressive. And it's nice being on a campus where art is so prevalent and embraced. And you can just walk to the Dishman Art Museum and there's art all around. So it really is a bonus. And it gives you, aesthetically, it's just pleasing. And I think that during this time of the pandemic, to create your own art would provide some relaxation. And I'm wondering if students are finding that they have more time and are being even more creative.
I think a lot of students, the experience runs the gamut. What I can tell you is some students, actually, a lot of our students at Lamar work. They have jobs and they work their way through college. And some of our students are actually essential employees, which means they're actually working more hours. And so they're having to juggle their online studies with increased employment. That's not a bad thing. They are making money. Right. But I find some students are struggling with this new burden. It's not so structured for them where you show up to school, then you show up to work. Now it's sort of flowing. Maybe school happens at 10 p.m. It happened all day.
That's hard. Yeah.
And I do know there are students whose parents work. And also, so the college age student is helping homeschool their younger brothers and sisters.
Also hard. Yes.
That's very hard. And so that's taking up their time. So I think that we have strong students and they're getting the work done, but they're also juggling a lot of responsibility on top of that. At least that's what I'm hearing.
Well, it's been wonderful to visit with you. Anything else you want to tell us? Anything you can help those of us who look at a blank canvas and have fear? I mean, I've looked at a blank canvas before and thought, it's so beautiful, just blank. If I put one dot on it, I'm going to, mess it up. What can you tell us and encourage us to be creative? Get the big brush. I love it.
Don't be afraid of the big brush and go ahead and just make that first mark and you're halfway there.
Love it.
Yes. Again, don't, It's not a pencil. Don't hold it like this. Hold it like a brush. You're painting. You're not drawing.
Got it. Got
Right.
it.
Use your wrist, your
Yeah.
arm, not your fingers.
And go for it.
Go for it.
All right, Donna Meeks, thank you so much. It's been great visiting with you and I appreciate your time. And now we have a great commercial that Lamar University has recently put together. Thanks for being with us today on Cardcast. I'm Shelley Vitanza for Lamar University, the pride of Southeast Texas.
I want to help people.
I want to be a part of the solutions of tomorrow.
I want to bring innovations in times of need.
I want to turn my passion for helping others into action.
I want to be the voice that shares truth with the world.
In times of uncertainty, being a nurse is how I will make a difference.
My professors have taught me human resources is about putting people first.
Through the power of mechanical engineering, I've learned how to better the world around me.
Because of Lamar University, I've been given the opportunity to change my world.
To change our world.
Our moment is here.
Our moment is now.
Make the most of it at Lamar University.